And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Yeah, that is Josh Thompson. And it is Wednesday, September 21st. And you know what that means, Josh Thompson? Do you know? Happy birthday to ya. Oh, we're getting older, baby.
I forgot it was my birthday too. You just reminded me right now. You ass. What a guy, man. I didn't even realize
Come on.
it. Oh,
Happy
man.
birthday to ya.
Jeez, finally the big 5-0. Shit.
Oh,
I never thought I'd
my
get
ass.
I thought I'd never get here.
You fucking at least put two numbers together. You're 44, baby.
44.
You quattro un quattro.
Quattro. You know what's crazy, right, John, is that, gosh, when I shave, right, I forget how
Oh, God,
sexy
here it goes. I'm going to throw up in my mouth again.
Until I can see this jawline and these dimples, man. This smile is just flossing today, buddy. Never felt so young in my life. Feel absolutely fantastic. The hairline's still there, but it is kind of holding on by a thread a little bit. It's more of the cuts from Tony Ferguson that I have in my hairline.
You didn't get cut in the back section where you got that nice little globe, man.
It's all right there in the front. It's getting a little thin up front. Thanks a lot, Tony Ferguson, for those cuts. Man, this one here, it looks like I'm starting a receding hairline, but that's actually a scar from Tony Ferguson right there. The hair just doesn't grow there anymore. Thanks, buddy. But you are right. It is my birthday.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Jeez, I didn't even, I swear I didn't even remember until you guys started.
You don't want to remember. You get up into this age group. It's like,
you know, John, how many times we've been in Milan? We've been in, I think every year we're in another country for your birthday.
Oh yeah, always.
Are you in Milan again this year for your birthday, correct?
No.
Oh, you're back.
I am back in between shows. Yes. I actually get to spend my birthday with my family.
Nice.
So it's pretty
on
good.
The farm, probably working.
Fucking A.
It's insane.
I have to work because
man.
I keep screwing up and doing things that are stupid, like I told you, losing parts of my vehicles and what the hell.
So you lost your key fob. You were an hour away. You had to leave your car parked because you didn't have the key fob. And then you found it in your driveway, from what I understand.
Let me ask you a question. Is your car supposed to start with the key fob on the outside of your vehicle?
It's not. No, mine says it's not in the vehicle yet.
Exactly. It says no key fob detected.
Yeah.
Well, what I did is I had to take my wife to the airport because she's going to go and watch our grandkids. While my son and his wife go to Dublin, Ireland. They're going to go to watch the fights, and they're going to go and see what Ireland is all about. And so we're doing this barn dominium thing, right? All that stuff. And she's got all this crap inside of my truck, floor tiles and bathroom tiles and all this crap, right? And I'm like, Elaine, what are you doing with this? Can you put this somewhere? She goes, oh, I don't even need those. Those are ones that I'm not using. You can get rid of those. So I put my key fob on the back of my truck bed, because I've got a cover, and I set it up there, and I'd taken all these things out, right? And finally I put them over and I close the door, and I get in, and boom, I hit the button on my truck, starts up. I forgot that I had put it on the back, right? And I take off. Well, when I take off, I go down and hills and grass and everything, and I'm on a farm. Well, obviously, I don't know that I don't have my key fob because my wife wants to stop and get lunch before I take her to the airport. She picks the spot. I stop there, and as soon as I stop, I get out. I look for my wallet. Take my wallet out of the door, put it in my thing. Where's my key? No key. Can't find it. Hit the start of the car, no key fob detected. It's like, holy shit, that's the only key I had, right? And I'm like, oh man. So I call the Dodge dealership, right? Oh, it's 5 days and $500 for a key fob. Oh yeah, right? And they need to have the truck towed there because they have to program it with the key fob, but they won't get the key fob for 5 days. So now I have to call and get my wife an Uber because I don't have a way to start my car, right? So I'm sitting there at this place. So I decide to call, and I got to say, this is why I'm telling the story. I call this tow truck company H&H in Knoxville, Tennessee. Well, excuse me, in Maryville. And they also have another. And this guy, Ben, he's the owner. He gets on the phone. He tells me how much it'll be, which is not that much to take it to the Dodge dealership. I'm like, great, come on out. He comes out, good guy from Canada, from Toronto, Canada, originally. And he starts saying, you know what? Screw this. Let me find out. And he starts calling his friends and stuff. He finds a guy that ends up getting me a key fob. Yeah, he has to tow my truck there and stuff, but gets me a key fob and for half the price. So Ben at H&H Towing in Maryville, you are the man. Thank you very much. You made my life easier because it was a shit show.
Everybody should have a friend that knows a man. I know a guy. I know a guy. I had a buddy,
I know a guy.
Thing.
Yeah.
There's always somebody that you know that knows a guy. There's got to be something. If you don't have one of those friends, fuck, you're doing something wrong. You need to have somebody. You need to have one of those friends. I had a buddy. He passed, but man, he knew a guy for everything. Hey, I need carpets. I know a guy. Need a roof. Know a guy. Gutters on my house. Know a guy. I was like, holy shit.
I want to turbocharge my car. Know a guy.
He just basically, he knew everyone and I saved a lot of money going through my buddy. And rest in peace, my man, Rob. But over, man, it's one of my car. You have a brand new vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the new Dodge TRX, right?
TRX.
Right? The Raptor Killer. That's what they call it, the Raptor Killer. Yeah. You would think they'd have the better technology. Like my Denali have a brand new Denali too. But as soon as the car starts to drive away and the key fob's not detected, it'll tell you, please pull over.
So it can stop right there. It'll
tell you.
Hold on. I send my daughter back to say, hey, look up in the thing, right? She can't find the key because she thought she looks all over. So when I get home, I decide, okay, I start walking the whole path, and it's a long, it's probably a half mile up to the thing, right? Sure enough, found that sumbitch, man.
Needle in a haystack.
No, found it. Took a picture, sent it to my wife, said, yep, there it is. God damn it.
Miss McCarthy was like, what the fuck did you do? And then she had to take an Uber, right? To the airport because you guys had.
I put her in an Uber.
Did you guys eat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, you have found ways to really make things difficult these days.
Hey, I'm just,
First the oak tree, and then, and then you went out and got yourself a one wheel, just waiting for yourself to collapse and fall off that thing.
Come on. I haven't done anything with the one wheel. One wheel's been fantastic.
Jeez, man. Well, John, you leave tomorrow, correct?
Yes, I do.
To Ireland, so you have the Bellator show.
I dropped him. Hold on.
No.
I dropped him. Yeah, baby.
Oh,
guys, yeah, we're going.
I know the guys from the Energy Podcast, Energize Podcast. They're probably mad at me. They're packed away because I moved and I sold my gym. I packed them somewhere. They're in this office somewhere and I can't find them. So I'm gonna have to keep looking for them. But hey, just let you guys know we're thinking of you guys. Arena. Yeah, those guys have been great, man. They've been fantastic. The Energized guys, man. They're so fantastic. Check out their podcast. They do a great little MMA podcast as well, so check them out. You leave tomorrow.
I do. And I'm going to miss you.
Yeah,
but it's your birthday.
I know.
So you got to stay home.
I do.
Do with kids.
Stay home. Just got to be home, man. Be home around family. Be home
I
around
don't blame you.
People that I like.
Whoa! Ow! That freaking hurt.
Oh, you cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me real deep. All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and bounce into. Wait. First, we're gonna touch on this real quick. We're gonna touch on this real quick. We're gonna give a little love to Jose Aldo, but we want to let you guys know that the clip we did a short clip on him and his retirement, talking about giving him all the love he deserves. We did a little short clip on our Clips channel, so hit the link down below. That'll take you to our Clips channel. Check out that clip that we did for Jose Aldo. We're talking more on that, so make sure you guys go to our Clips channel. Hit the subscribe button as well, and the little bell to get notifications from there, because sometimes we'll be dropping when there's some heavy news that comes in, like we did last last week after the Chimaev, Nate Diaz debacle and all the weight cutting issues, we dropped a special clip that did really well. That'll be available. Some of those clips will be available on the Only Clips channel. So make sure you guys hit that bell and notifications on this channel as well as that channel. This show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Big John, you got some Bellator fights. You're headed off to Ireland this weekend. There's going to be some great odds on the Bellator fights. And Big John and I are going to cover a little bit of them coming up on this episode. So, hey, go to MyBookie.ag. Use our promo code weighing in. You're going to be able to pick our minds a little bit by what we have to say. And hopefully you guys can make a little bit of money using our promo code weighing in at MyBookie.ag. But let's go ahead and let's say, hey, man, I want to give Jose Aldo nothing but respect. He deserves it. He is continuing to be one of the greatest fighters to ever walk the face of the earth, one of the most dominant champions for such a long period of time. And we'll get into some stories, or we did get into some stories on the clips, but I want to make sure that we gave him some love on the big show. And, man, he's going to be missed. I got to be honest, he's going to be missed.
Oh, you think about the fights that he's had and, who he has faced, in competition. The guy came onto the scene with the WEC really is where people really started to know who he was and the people that he fought and the way that he won those fights. And you look and let's be honest, all the champions that he fought, the only people he ever lost to, there's only 2. He's had 8 losses in his career, Josh. There's only 2 that were not champions. And one of them that would be Merab Dvalishvili, who, his man is Aljamain and he's not going to try, but that dude is good enough to be a champion anywhere he wants. And his first loss of his career, I can't say that guy was a champion. It's the only one. He went on an 18-fight win streak from there. He fought everybody, Frankie Edgar multiple times, Chad Mendez. I mean, just a incredible, collection of fighters that went up against him. Usually came out on the short end of the stick with him, but the guy just had an incredible career. If this is the end, and, whatever he's going to do, hey, I just want to thank him for all the good times. I actually, he was one of those guys that I wanted to referee, and I actually gave up a main event with George St. Pierre in, Toronto with 55,000 people because I wanted to referee a Jose Aldo fight, and I thought his fight with Mark Hominick was going to be the best fight, and I got to do that one. He is just a champion through and through. Just the way he carries himself, the way he performs. Best of luck with everything, man. Thank you very much for being so goddamn good.
Yeah, absolute legend, man. Absolute legend. Like I said, check out the Clips channel where we did a special feature just directly on him. We'll talk about some of his past. We'll talk about all the things that he's accomplished as well as some of the things that he may be looking forward to here in the future. Who knows? All right, so let's get into the Bellator that's happening this weekend in Dublin, Ireland. It's at the 3 Arena, correct?
It is. Gotta love the 3 Arena.
I'm going to be honest. Since
You're
I'm
gonna
not
miss that
working the
part.
show, I'm going to miss that part. I'm going to
don't
miss.
blame you, man.
I'm going to miss the bar afterwards and that little. I think it's called the Gibson Hotel is where we normally stay, right across the walkway there.
Owned by you too.
And is it really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And then that little Thai place down on the corner. I'm going to miss that place too. That place is fantastic. I'm so glad they went in there during COVID, by the way, which is the strangest thing. They actually opened their doors during COVID, but thankfully they did because they were fucking fantastic food.
So good.
Absolutely. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's talk right about the main event. You got Peter Queally versus Benson Henderson.
Yes, sir.
John, I mean, I'm going to be honest, man. I haven't done any research on any of these guys, so you go right ahead and take the show over.
Well, first off, I think that you know both of these guys pretty well. One of them you actually fought against, and I remember that fight pretty well, even though it wasn't in Ireland, it was in Chicago. But
cold as fuck, by the way.
It was cold then. That's true. Look at Peter Queally against Benson Henderson is a good matchup. They're very similar as far as fighters in a lot of ways, in that they're both slow starters. They're both guys that, just tend to wear down their opponents with a lot of volume and everything. Neither one's got that huge knockout power, but volume wise, they put it on guys and they just tend to wear people out. We've seen Peter Queally have some outstanding fights where he's come back from, he's been hurt, come back and really put it on. And the fight he had against Ryan Scope,
absolutely fantastic fight,
unbelievable fight. And Benson, we've seen it how many times. He's so goddamn durable. but he's getting older, and he's a little bit, some of the things that he could do in the past, it's a little bit different now, but they match up so well in this. This is really, to me, who's the guy that gets off and starts going after their opponent, puts them on their back foot, and really starts to set the tone of the fight. They both tend to, always take time and then get rolling. And once they get rolling, hey, they both can really put it on their opponents, but they both have got to get going early in this fight. I think that if they allow their opponent to get, ahead of them, it's going to be hard for them to catch up, whichever way it goes.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I also believe that Peter Queally is a different animal when he fights in Dublin.
Yes.
He is a different fighter. He there's that never say die attitude that he possesses, but he has it even more when he has that crowd behind him. And that arena rocks when he walks out. I mean, I've been there several times when he's done the walkout to Zombie, and it's just the crowd is electric from beginning to end. They got nothing but love for Peter Queally. He is their guy. When it comes to Benson Henderson winning a decision in this town, it's going to be very difficult for him to do that because it seems like and we said Benson finds ways to squeak by in the decisions.
But so does Peter.
But so does Peter. But Peter also has a lot of output. He is someone that has a lot of output. He is a slow starter, but he has a lot of output. He is very active, but he like touches, movement, touch, kick. He's that kind of fighter. There's a lot of output, which will get him to win the rounds. Benson is someone who does a lot of movement, but there's not a lot of output. And he finds ways to squeak ahead on the judges' scorecards, but he hasn't been as lucky since coming to Bellator. When in the UFC, he was getting wins over people that a lot of people thought he lost to. Yeah. And when he came to Bellator, he started losing all those close decisions, and it's worked against him. Peter Queally has the home crowd behind him. He will fight a little bit harder because of that. And everyone that says the crowds don't make a difference, you're lying. It's bullshit. It does. It absolutely does. Because if I was there calling that fight when he fought Ryan Scope, had they been fighting in a different arena, I don't know if he would have got out of that round. He got dropped early with that shot.
He
and that
was
kick.
hurt.
He was really hurt. Took a beating for a good minute and a half, maybe even it was about a minute and a half.
About
took
2 minutes. Yeah.
Got the reversal. Got on top. Put some work together on the body. Came back up top. Beautifully done. But that crowd made a huge difference, and I expect this crowd to really drag him through this fight to get him into that winning position. It's up to Peter Queally to get it done, though.
Absolutely. And here's the one thing I want to. You know what it's like when he comes out to the song Zombie and the entire crowd. He's coming out first. He is in the blue corner in this.
Yep.
And I'm making a bet that you're going to have a hard time. You may be able to hear it on TV, but if you're in the arena, you're not going to be able to hear Benson Henderson being announced.
Well, Peter Queally,
that crowd will be that loud.
He requests that he comes out first.
Yes.
So everyone's like, oh, well, Peter's probably ranked ahead of him. So it drowns out his walkout and his walkout music so that Benson can never really get the rhythm going right from the beginning.
That's it.
He's requested it every time because he knows that crowd will sing Zombie through his opponent's walkout.
Yep.
And I know it's not a long walkout because of the 3 Arena. It's not a long walkout. It's almost like a straight downward ramp right into the cage.
Yeah.
I think they may have fixed it, so it's going to walk straight now from the cage to the top. I think they were talking about that the last time.
Instead of going around?
Instead of going around the cage. I mean, they may not have done it, but I know they were talking about it.
But what a unbelievable arena that is as far as when, it's packed every time. And the UFC has had, when Connor fought, who was it? Diego. He fought Brandao there. And, I mean, it is so loud in that arena, you can't talk to the person next to you.
Well, it's a theater seating, so that's what its purpose is, to make sure that the sound carries, and it does a great job. But look, even outside the arena, let's just be honest. The Irish fans are the best, I think, in the world. When you're talking about when it comes to combat sports. Now, I haven't been to a football or a soccer game. I haven't been to a soccer game out there to see how they are there, but I can imagine how they are in the fight arena. I'm sure it transfers even more into the football stadium. So it's the fans. John, you and I have done a lot of fights all around the world. What's your favorite place to go to?
Dublin,
this
Ireland.
arena, Dublin, Ireland. Next, I would say probably next would be London. London's
great.
It's very good as
Newcastle,
well.
all of them are great.
Yeah, great places,
Manchester.
great venues, great fans, absolutely fantastic fans. I never was able to go to Israel, but I heard the fans there are absolutely fantastic.
Unbelievable.
As well.
Yeah, yeah, they're crazy.
But when I look at this fight, I agree with you 100%. It's going to come down to Benson Henderson. He's got to get started fast. He's got to have output because I don't think he's going to win a judge's decision because Peter Cooley is a very active fighter. He may be a slow starter, but there's a lot going on. He moves, he kicks, he pot shots you. He waits for you to overcommit on something. He tries to land elbows. If Benson tries to get a takedown, we saw with the Patricky Pitbull fight, he will try to cut you from the bottom with elbows and have success. He's got that body frame that's kind of tall, long, and lanky for the weight class, and he'll try to use those elbows to his advantage, especially if he's on the ground. So Benson's got to be very cautious, be very careful if this thing hits the ground. And on the feet, I think Benson is the better fighter on the feet. And I think Benson fights better in a phone booth. He can't allow.
He doesn't want to fight him at range.
He does not want to fight him at range. You're absolutely correct. You beat me to the punch.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's stealing the words right out of my mouth. That's normal. Great minds think alike. This is what we say. But it's true. He's got to make sure he fights him a little bit more in a phone booth. Because Benson's got pretty tight boxing. He's good kind of in the clinch with the clinch against the fence. Good pressure. Benson should try to use his knees a little bit more, which I think that'll benefit him a lot if he gets into that clinch. He doesn't utilize them as much as he possibly could. But in that phone booth between the tight boxing as well as the knees, I think he's got a good chance, especially with that little heel strike that he likes to do to the calves and to the thigh and his leg kicks. He's got to fight him in that range. He can't afford to fight him at range where Peter's longer, and he utilizes his length a lot better than Benson does.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the other part that I really look at, Benson has been utilizing his kicks much more, and he's been going against guys that are very good grapplers, and he's still using those kicks. In this matchup, he's the better grappler, especially the wrestling part. And so he can use those kicks even more. He needs to, he brings them up high, brings them to the body, brings them down to the leg. Keep attacking with it. It's a good distance range checker for him. It'll put him into place for getting inside and using exactly what you're saying. The clinch work that he's really good with and the knees inside can make a big difference in the fight.
The one thing I will say, though, John, is that I follow Benson on social media. I follow Peter as well. But Benson, he's very active right now in kind of being the head coach along with John Crouch at the lab. And he's kind of, he's obviously taken over being the head coach for his wife and doing a lot of stuff with the younger, talented fighters that he has up and coming. I wonder how much that is taking away from his actual performances in the gym to get better. And like you said, he is getting older. Father Time is undefeated. We're finding that out for everyone. Jose Aldo, other fighters that are retiring as well.
He's right at that. Isn't he 38
38 or 39? Yeah. I think he's somewhere in that 38 or 39.
He's right at it.
He still looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, Jesus.
He's coming on 39 in November.
Yeah, his waistline is fucking got to be like a 28. Yeah, he's got like a small 28 waist.
I haven't had a 28 waistline since I was 12.
12, not even 12. You're probably like not even 12. Third grade. That's like 8 years old. Your thigh was like 28 when you were 12.
I had
big thighs.
Bigger than 28-inch thighs at one time. So
you got to match that big head.
Yeah, well, you got to have big legs to hold up that big head.
Yes, this is true. Overall, I'm expecting a good fight. There should be a scrap. It's a 5-round fight. You're in Ireland. That crowd's going to be pumping, and I think it's going to be a fantastic fight.
Yeah, I think there will be some technical aspects to it, but I actually think it's going to end up being a brawl. I think they're going to start brawling. Yeah, I really do. I think that Peter likes to push people in that fight, and Benson doesn't back down from anyone. So I think it's going to really be a fun fight.
I think it will be good. Now let's get into the co-main event, which is Yoel Romero versus Melvin Manoff.
Man,
I'm going to be a little bit of a critic right now, John.
All right.
This is not the fight that I want to see Yoel Romero fighting. I don't want to see Melvin Manoff and Yoel fight. It's not a fight that I'm interested in watching. It's not a fight that I would have put together at all, and I get it. It's Melvin's retirement fight, but this is not a fight I want to see Melvin go off onto. I have the same respect that I did with Nate Diaz. is Nate Diaz.
Okay.
I didn't want to see him go against Chimaev. I don't want to see Melvin Manoff go against Yoel Romero.
Thank you. And I said it so many times. I said it to, look at the main man. I said it to Scott Coker. I said, why do you hate Melvin Manoff? Right? And he goes, I love Melvin. What are you talking about? I go, no. Look at who you've put him against.
Yeah.
Multiple times here. I go, Corey Anderson. He put him against Corey Anderson. Now he puts him against Yoel Romero. I go, do you hate this man?
Yeah.
You know, the guys that have always given him problems are the guys that are great wrestlers. Well, you put him against a really good wrestler in Corey Anderson, and now you're putting him against a better wrestler in Yoel Romero. I would have loved to have seen Melvin go, because he's the one that has said that this is his last fight. And that's great. You know, he's had a hell of a career. And he's beat people that, you know, a who's who. You know, dude, he knocked out Mark Hunt in 18 seconds.
Yeah,
I think it was 18 seconds. I mean, the dude is just, if you remember his fight with Robbie Lawler and the leg kicks he was throwing, and he got knocked out. But just unbelievable.
But he was putting it on Robbie.
Oh my God, unbelievable. But Melvin's such a good stand-up fighter. He's so fun to watch. We put him against Yoel. Okay.
Yeah.
You hate Melvin Manoff.
He's one of those guys, though. He always wants to fight the best guy or someone he can challenge himself with. But the issue is, though, like, I wanted to see him ride off into the sunset. You know, we were supposed to go pre-COVID. We were supposed to go to Amsterdam. And he was supposed to have his retirement fight there. And then COVID hit, and then the whole thing got pushed back. And, you know, we were trying to get in there to do the show there, and it was supposed to happen. This fight here, I know it's not in Amsterdam, but I think he's going to come with a little bit of extra vigor, you know, for this fight, and we'll see exactly what he can get done. He's got to keep this thing on the feet. The thing that scares me the most was Yoel Romero, his fight against Phil Davis. You could tell that he put the weight on, but it wasn't the right way. And then you saw him put the weight on for his Polizzi fight.
Polizzi, yeah.
And he fucked Polizzi up.
Dude,
and it wasn't just because it was Polizzi. He broke his jaw in 2 places. He put a beating on him. That fight could have been stopped several times. Polizzi was too tough for his own good.
Yep.
But in that fight, when you saw Yoel Romero weigh in, you saw Yoel Romero take his shirt off the night of the fight and step into that cage, I was like, oh, you're built different this time. He looked chubby in the fight with Phil Davis. This fight, that Alex Polizzi fight, he looked like a whole different animal. Just
he didn't. I'll never say that he looked chubby, but
I will.
You're horrible. The dude's sitting there with he's got an 8-pack, and you're calling him chubby. But
John, not all of us were born with a keg like you, buddy.
Dude, let me ask you a question. If given the opportunity, Josh, and you can have a keg or you can have a 6-pack, what are you going to take? Always go with the keg, baby. A lot more beer in that bad boy.
This small frame only needs a 6-pack, buddy.
You candy ass. See, that's it. So, but seriously, there was a difference in how it was almost like a hardness to Yoel. You saw his shoulders and everything. He just, in that Polizzi fight, you went, wow, he's just looking thicker and stronger than he did in that fight with Phil Davis. So yeah, you're right. We're going to see, you know, what brings to light here in Dublin. But I look at this fight, Yoel, for the most part, he'll stand with him though. I don't see him going straight to the wrestling and trying to take him down. That's not who Yoel is. He'll eventually do it, but he's going to stand with him for a while.
I think Melvin Manoff's going to try and hit him quick.
Oh, yeah.
Like fast and early. He's going to come at him aggressively. In the Corey Anderson fight, he was very hesitant because he knew that Corey was going to wrestle him. Yoel Romero is not the same. Even though he's an Olympic silver medalist, even though he's a fantastic wrestler, we all know that. He just chooses not to utilize his wrestling. He knows he can take a shot. He's got a good shin. Yep. He also knows he can deliver some nasty power. And if he touches Melvin Manoff's chin, it could be lights out, man. Melvin's been knocked out by some...
When he explodes, it's nasty.
Yeah.
You know, he just doesn't do it very often.
And let's not forget, though, Melvin Manoff is not a big... He should be a 70.
He should be 185.
Yeah, 85, but like...
He's honestly, thick. He's too thick for 170, but he should be at 185.
He's like a Joaquin Buckley. I think he looks... I think he's physically,
tweener.
He's kind of built... He's a tweener.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this fight going, Yoel could win it on the feet with a big shot, and Yoel could win it by taking this fight to the ground like how he did with Machida. As soon as the fight hits the ground, just some nasty ground and pound, it could be over. Yeah. Melvin Manoff has one opportunity, one chance. I mean, it could be a big shot delivered with a head kick, something along those lines, but he's going to have to catch him clean because Yoel, with those traps and that no neck, it goes straight from fucking shoulders to ear. I mean, it's going to be hard to knock him out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough task. Melvin's got his hands full this weekend.
He does.
What other fights on here?
Brett Johns against Jordan I'm gonna Winsky. I love that.
That's a great nickname.
But Brett Johns is a damn good fighter, and he's fighting much better right now than he has in the past. He's gotten smarter about what he's doing. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He's got great judo. His stand-up has gotten much cleaner. This is going to be a tough fight for Jordan Winsky. Brett Johns is the real deal. Danny Sabatello came in and got a win against him, though, in his first fight. Both of their first fights in Bellator. And Jordan Winsky needs to take a look at what Danny did in that fight, kind of try to follow that game plan. I'm just not sure that he can do it.
Yeah, I'm going to Winsky. Can't wrestle like Danny Sabatello.
No, he can't.
He can't wrestle like him. He doesn't have the speed and the quickness on the takedowns like him. He doesn't have that Purdue pedigree of wrestling to get that fight to the ground.
Purdue pedigree.
And let's not forget, Sabatello took that fight on like 7 days notice. Yeah, 7 days notice. He came out and put on a great performance, a very dominating performance. And Brett Johns just didn't know what hit him. But I think he learned a lot from that fight after talking with him a little bit, in some of the fighter meetings, as well as talking to him around the casino and the arena. He's like, look, I learned a lot. That was very eye-opening to think that I was just going to come in here and dominate it. And he didn't dominate at all. He got dominated by someone who took a fight on short notice. And that's not to be said, like, Sabatello's a stud. He's fighting Rafian Stotts in the semifinals of the Bantamweight tournament. That's going to be a fantastic fight, but he's not someone to be overlooked. Like, oh yeah, because he took it on short notice. No, he's someone who's always training. He's always in shape. Brett Johns has learned a lot from that fight. He's going to come out, just do what he does. He tried to get away from it in that fight, and it worked against him. I think in this fight, he's going to have to do what he does to the best of his ability. Get the takedown, grind on him, really wear on them, make it dirty and grimy. If he can do that to I'm gonna Winsky, then he's gonna put I'm gonna Winsky in the losing column. I'm gonna Lewski is what he's gonna do.
Mads Burnell facing Pedro Carvalho. This is a great matchup. I think it's a tough fight for Pedro as far as he lives, by being a guy that can take the fight to the ground and really do good work. And in going against Mads Burnell on the ground is not somebody you want to be there with. Yeah. This Mads Burnell he's got a very tough, durable stand-up style. He's always coming forward. He's always looking to hit you with shots to the body. It's a good matchup. It is a really good, featherweight matchup. It's just one that Pedro has got to be very, very on his game and moving in the stand-up game to take angles against Mads. He does that and he starts putting shots on him. Then he can go into being in the top position, but he's always going to have to be careful of that ground game with Mads, especially that Japanese necktie that Burnell is so good at.
Yeah, that Japanese necktie, though, that Mads good at, that only works when you're pretty much on top. He's going to have to hit that position from that half-guard position. I think that Mads will be the one, if this does hit the ground, I think Mads might be the one on the bottom. That's if Pedro tries to take it there. I think Pedro's going to try to stand as much as possible, but I think so too. I don't think that favors him as well. Yeah. I think
it's a tough
Mads
one.
is someone who can take shots. We've seen that already. He's someone that can take shots. He's someone that can deliver shots. He takes damage very well, and if he hits the ground, he's comfortable on the ground. And I do think that as the fight goes on, he may try to get to that top position, but Pedro's got an uphill battle. This is going to be a really tough fight. Stylistically, it's a very bad matchup for Pedro, and I like Pedro a lot. He's a fantastic fighter.
Yep.
He's such a great person, man.
Great.
What a great guy.
He's got such a great confidence about himself and the way he looks at his career and what he wants to do and stuff. You just look at him and you go, man, I wish everyone had that freaking mindset that you have. And he does have it. It's the one thing that I look at in this is the guys that tend to give Mads problem are guys that are fast. Pedro's not real fast. Him and Mads match up very well in the speed department. So he's going to have to be, like I said, be on his game and footwork with angles.
Yep.
We'll see if he can do it.
What else you got?
Well, in looking at, there's a couple in here. I want people to know about Dara Kelly. He's only 1-0, but man, that kid is a stud. He's good. Brian Moore, the Pike man, going against Lima da Silva. That's actually a good fight where I think someone's definitely going to go to sleep because Lima da Silva likes to throw power. Brian Moore, we know, I call him the Irish Canelo because he goes to the body so well. And then Lee McCourt, going against Diana Silva. Lee McCourt is one of those fighters where you look, she is very good in the grappling game. And she can suck people into that grappling game. But her stand-up has gotten better and better and better to the point where now she can utilize her stand-up to get to those grappling situations without taking a lot of damage. We'll see if she's going to be able to do that against Diana Silva, who likes to be in the stand-up game. She can go to the ground, but she likes to be in the stand-up game, throwing shots, and she likes to fight at range. So we're going to see if Lee McCourt can get inside of that range on her.
John, the fight that I'm looking forward to, though, is Kay Musa and Georgia Karhanian.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a good
looking
one.
forward to that because Georgie has been looking fantastic at 155. Sure, he's had some wins and sure, he's had some losses. But to me, he's someone that brings it. And at 155, he's been a way better fighter. He's someone that he can take a shot a little bit better. He can deliver a lot more power. He can deliver shots with a lot more power. And people underestimate his grappling. His grappling is phenomenal.
I think that's the big difference in this fight.
Yeah.
His grappling compared to Kane Moose, and Kane's not bad. It's that Georgie is damn good.
The thing is Kane always tries to press people to the fence. He tries to control them there, kind of slow the pace down, try to knee you and hit you with shots, against the fence. He's not even able to do that with Georgie. Georgie's bigger than him. Georgie's going to be, I think, a little bit stronger than him. And I think if Georgie's able to press him to the fence and get a takedown, Kane Musa is going to have a hard time getting up off the bottom. He's going to have a really hard time. And Georgie is someone who can deliver the shots, the ground and pound.
And you got to be careful of that guillotine.
That arming guillotine is nasty. He's quick on it. He's nasty with it. The other guy up there is Carl Albrechtsen. He kind of always gets overlooked, but he's a dog, man. He's a dog.
Dude, his last fight against Yakshimuradov, it was fantastic. That dude showed such heart. He's so goddamn tough. I mean, he came into Bellator. He lost to Phil Davis. Yeah, he's gotten multiple wins since that time. And against Carl Moore, I'd say you got to say he's the favorite in the fight. It's not that Carl Moore is, bad fighter, good fighter himself. So it's going to be good competition. But you got to say that Albrechtsen is the guy that you should look at and say, yeah, he's the favorite.
Got it. Any other fights on this card you want to talk about?
You know what? The one that starts the whole thing off, Dante Skiro, who gets no love against Luka Poklik. I think that's going to be a fun fight, and I think Dante Skiro is going to be kind of in a position where you better be careful if you're Luka because you cannot overlook how good he is off of his back.
Who, Luka or Skiro?
Skiro.
Yeah, he's very good off of his back.
Very good off his back. For a guy that can wrestle, he already proved off of his back, he is a handful, and he's hard. He's got a great elevator sweep. He does all kinds of nice movement underneath. He creates space. So Luka's only got one loss. Dante Skiro, he's going to have a hard time getting that win against him, but he can do it.
I had a nice chat with Skiro after his last fight. I just told him, look, you got to start believing in your stand-up, man. He could have got his last opponent. He could have got him out of there a lot earlier had he thrown, instead of just throwing the 1s and the 2s, throw the 3s and the 4s. Follow up with that 3 and 4 and throw some vigor behind it, man. That's my word of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, as you guys can tell, look, just throw a little extra oomph behind it. Let the combinations go. Believe in it because he made that fight go longer than it needed to go by just not putting the 3s and the 4s and sometimes the 5 behind combinations that landed. That's something that I think a lot of fighters, they don't quite believe in their stand-up, so they just land the 1-2 and they move on to the wrestling, they move on to the grappling, the clinching. It's not always that way. When you feel it land, you know it landed. Make space, create space. Don't smother yourself and let the combination go. And I was letting him know that afterwards, and he kind of gave me some good feedback, and he's like, I agree. We were talking about it in the corner, even after the fight. But we'll see if he can get it done this time. But yeah, he's nasty off of his back. He's very hard to pass guard. He's got that long, and lanky kind of body figure where his hook sweep is real good. His positioning is real good. And he's a talented fighter. It's just up to him to pull the trigger and let it all go and put it together in the cage. Yeah. So good luck on that. Bellator this weekend in Dublin, Ireland. This will be on Showtime, correct?
It is on Showtime.
It is on Showtime. John, let's talk a little bit real quick about something. There's been talk. I saw the link the other day that was sent to me that I sent off to you guys, that Bellator is going to potentially move, to Paramount. Showtime will potentially shut down. If it goes to Paramount Plus, I think it benefits everybody worldwide for that to happen. I mean, I'm thinking like everyone, there's 70,000. No, I'm just thinking there's 76 million. 76 million people in the UK, not UK, but in Europe. And then there's 50 million in the US. And you can watch it at any time. I mean, if this is to happen, I think it's going to be a big step up for the Bellator organization to be able to broadcast their fights overseas for everyone to watch at certain times. I mean, I love Showtime. I love the people that work for Showtime. I've had a relationship with everyone that's been there since Strikeforce days. I mean, my career was built on Showtime, and fantastic group of people, fantastic production crew, the whole crew, everyone is still kind of the same crew from way back when I was around. And so they're all fantastic, everyone. I just think the way that the apps are all going, the way that ESPN Plus and Paramount Plus and these apps are really kind of just taking over. And if you start thinking if we're going to be doing the UK market or the European market for Bellator is very big. I mean, every time we go, whether it's Milan, we go to Dublin, we go to London, they're sold out arenas every single time. What's it called? Israel, sold out arena. I mean, anywhere we would go, it was sold out arenas. Fantastic. And I think that makes it more viewer friendly for everyone. It's going to be, I'm interested to see how this all plays out. That's what I'm interested in to see.
It's one of those you look and you go, scary in some ways, because anytime you have where things, all of a sudden now they're being absorbed by another thing.
Yeah.
That means someone's losing jobs. And I hate that part of it. I hate that part of it.
Here's the thing, though.
It might be me and you.
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
It might be.
The greatest thing about all this, those decisions are made above our pay grade.
There you go. That's
what it is. But I will continue to be someone who supports the growth of the sport, whether I'm included in it or not. I mean, I love working for Bellator. I loved working for Spike. I love working for Paramount Plus when we were on there. I love working for CBS Sports when we were on there. I love working for Showtime. I loved everywhere we went. It was fantastic getting to build relationships everywhere we went. Our production crew is absolutely fantastic. I look at Paramount Plus and I'm like, man, to think you're in quadruple the amount of houses, from Europe to here, and the opportunity to really to grow the brand and grow the sport of MMA. That's something that I've always been passionate about, man. It's the sport of MMA.
It's all about eyeballs, Josh.
Yeah.
The more eyeballs that watch MMA, be it UFC, Bellator, PFL. So what do we do all the time? We're always telling everyone, hey, go watch one. Watch those guys, man. Watch the PFL. It's about growing the sport of MMA, because the bigger the sport gets, the more the fighters make, the more everything grows. That's the whole way of doing it. So if we can get more eyeballs on it through Paramount Plus, then I'm all for it.
Well, look at what One did, right? They signed that deal with
Amazon
Prime, and that was a fantastic. I mean, I believe it's only for 8 shows, 7 or 8 shows.
I don't know what it is, but at least it gets eyeballs on them.
Yep. Because that was the one. That was the one thing they were having the hardest thing doing, because they were in Singapore, mainly stationed out of Singapore is their home base. But because they were in the Asian market, it was hard for them to get eyeballs on it here in the US and here in the UK, or over in the UK, because of the time change.
Sure.
And so putting it onto Amazon Prime, if someone wanted to wait up until 3 or 4 in the morning, they had the opportunity to wait up until 3, 4 in the morning, and became more available to them on Amazon Prime. I feel that anything that is doing to build the sport, because look, what people have to remember is that all these fighters need a place to go. They need top level organizations for them to go to. And now the UFC, whether it's full or not, Bellator, whether it's full or not, and one, whether it's full or not, you got PFL. There is hundreds of thousands of fighters out there looking for work in a major promotion, and they can't get to it because they just don't have enough shows that they're doing every year. You talk to some of these managers, they're like, man, I've got a young guy, he's 14-0. I can't get him signed by anybody because he doesn't have any fights that anyone's really seen. They've all been in, a really tough, Russian fight organization, or they've been in a really tough, Asian fight organization or wherever. They just haven't been able to get eyeballs on them. And these young fighters need to have eyeballs on them in any way that they can. So I think anything that helps the sport grow, that potentially can add more money into every fighter's pocket, and eventually could lead to more money into the sport of MMA. That's not a bad thing. That's not.
It's all good.
All right. Anyways, I just saw that link and I was like, that could be some big news. We'll see. But like I said, it's above our pay grade. That's way above our pay grade. But all right, let's see what else you got for us there, Dave.
All right, so first story I have is now Nate Diaz is in his free agency. There's a lot of talk about what he's going to do next. So the main one that I saw was Mike Perry's comments about being in BKFC and saying that he would that's a fight obviously he'd love to have in BKFC. And then in addition, Henry Cejudo's made comments that he could see Nate jumping into WWE. And Nate Diaz himself has said that Jake Paul is an absolute for something is going to happen. He's just they're just not putting the time on it.
Yeah, I believe Jake Paul has one more fight on Showtime after this. I don't know if that would be the Nate Diaz fight for them to put it on there. I'm not if they would be able to get that to come together. If Anderson and Jake, if Jake's able to beat Anderson Silva, I mean, that's huge. That's a huge deal. I mean, in terms of everyone, the reason why I say it's a huge deal, look, I think Jake has a 60 to 65% chance of winning this fight. The age, the chin, all those things, the athleticism, it's all going to go to Jake. Now, this boxing skill level is going to go to Anderson.
I don't think the athleticism is going to go to Jake.
I absolutely do. At this age, look, Anderson Silva younger, absolutely not. I'm going to pick Anderson Silva all day long. But the way he has slowed down, the way that he doesn't absorb shots like he used to.
If you want to say the speed's going to go to Jake, I'll go with that.
It's not like Jake's not an athlete.
Was he ever a world champion? No.
No.
Is he ever a fucking national champion? No.
But the
how good of an athlete is he? He's okay.
The world champion you were talking about, though, that's 10 years removed. That's not the same guy we're talking about. We can't compare that. I'm just being honest.
Not quite 10 years removed.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's close.
But it's this is what happens. This happens as you get older.
He's 48 years old. He lost the title when he was what? 38, 39? He's 48. It's 47, 48, I believe. I'm just saying, it's close. He's about 8 years removed, I think. When did he lose his title? He lost to Chris Weidman. He never got it back.
He did. No.
He lost to Chris Weidman. That was Luke Rockhold beat Chris Weidman, and then he lost. Wow. That was
he lost to Bisping at 199.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a while back.
First one, so it was
almost
2013.
300.
2013.
10 years.
9 years.
Almost 10 years.
9 years.
I wasn't
July.
so far off.
9
I wasn't
years.
so far off. Once you pass July, we're getting into the 10-year mark, buddy. I'm rounding up.
You're
I'm
absolutely
rounding
right.
up.
You're absolutely right.
That steel trap you have there, it's not so still anymore. You got
It was pretty still enough
buddy.
to say that it was not 10 years yet.
Oh, jeez. I feel like the welding on the corners is starting to get a little seepage.
Yeah, there's cracks.
Seepage. Oh, some precipitation coming out the corner.
I look at it and it's like everything. The youth, absolutely. I think the speed goes to Jake. But there's a thing about understanding how to push a fight.
Yeah.
How to do things within the fight. You know that if people that have fought understand, hey, there's ways of going about this and I don't have to do this right away.
Yep.
And that's what, if you're Anderson, you're going out there saying, I'm going to frustrate you. I'm going to give you some problems, and all that frustration is going to do a lot of things to you that your age would help you with. I'm going to take it away. And we're going to see if he can do that. I think he can.
Yeah. I believe he probably can, but can he do it for a long duration? I don't know how many rounds is this? 8 rounds?
Yeah, but
rounds?
he went eight with Chavez Jr. and then like it was nothing.
Gotcha.
So, no problem.
I look at Jake. Jake's not going to be a standard boxer. And you know, the standard boxer is going to make it easier for, I think, Anderson Silva, a guy who doesn't fight like a standard boxer, like Jake Paul doesn't fight like a standard boxer. It may give Anderson a little bit of a different look. Maybe punches coming from angles that a standard boxer is not going to throw. Someone like Chavez Jr., right? He's going to throw it like a boxer.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's not going to throw everything like a boxer combination. Won't be as tight, won't be as fluid, all those things. But punches will come from angles that Anderson's maybe not expecting, because Anderson's been in the game for so long. He's used to sparring with top-level guys, fighting the best guys in the world. Fighting those guys that are kind of a little bit more of a not refined technician with speed and power can be dangerous. You know, and I agree that Anderson does have the fight IQ, I think, over him just because of all the years of experience. I just look at this. He has slowed down quite a bit. His chin is not what it used to be. When you're fighting those young, aggressive fighters.
No, but if you look, and this is the part, take a look at his record. Bring it down. So Uriah Hall was a TKO. He got tired in that. He took some shots. He wasn't knocked out or anything like that. You had the one against Cannonier that was TKO. It was a leg kick, and his leg was put decision. And you look at all of those and you go, he wasn't getting knocked out. Where did he get knocked out? Yeah. He got knocked out in the Weidman shot, in the Weidman. And that was a good knockout. But he hasn't been knocked out for years. Years. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's saying that his brain, if it was injured and if he was concussed, it's had time to heal. It's had time to adjust. Doesn't mean that his chin's going to be as good as it once was early in his career, which he had a good chin at one time. It's not the same. You're absolutely right, but it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously still possesses power the way he put Tito out.
But he did say in his press conference that he's got, some sparring partner that keeps knocking him out. And so you go, what? Yeah, it's like, did you just say that? But
he must have been talking about it, goofing around, talking about
He's goofing around. He's goofing
around. We started this conversation, though, talking about Nate Diaz, by the way. We got way off track. Look, Nate Diaz and Jake Paul, I'm 100% interested in. I'm not interested in seeing Anderson Silva and Nate Diaz. There's no interest for me at all whatsoever to see that fight.
Well, I think we really started this conversation off with Mike Perry.
Yep.
And bare knuckle boxing and Nate doing bare knuckle boxing, and you're not going to see that.
Yeah, you're not going to see it. I don't think Nate has any interest in doing bare knuckle boxing.
And they don't have the money that Nate wants to do that.
Yeah. Nope. I do think, though, that there may be some sort of opportunity to, Mike Perry fought in that triad thing, the chip thing, the chip ring thing. I'm not saying that organization again, but I'm saying
they're already in trouble.
I could see Mike Perry and him doing something in MMA gloves, a boxing match in MMA gloves, but I don't know where they would do it and what they would do it in, and and how they would do it. I don't know if BKFC or whatever it was could have the funding for it. I don't know if they could afford to pay Nate Diaz, like you said. That's a lot of money he's going to want. He's going to want anywhere between 5 to say 15 million, somewhere in there, I think. And he rightfully deserves it. Absolutely.
Yeah, because he's going to bring eyeballs.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's people that just want to watch Nate.
Fucking, I'm one of them.
They love me. Yeah, well, there you go.
I'm fucking one of them. So sign me up. Like I said, I will pay for any fucking fight that Nate Diaz is on.
Did you happen to see there was I don't know who did it, but they did it with Corey Sandhagen. It was a repeat with the shoes because Nate had said bad things about the UFC Rock shoes. And then they took an old interview from Nate about, what are you going to do? I'm going to go out there, take home a pocket full of cash. And they had Corey Sandhagen use the exact lines from Nate Diaz. And you go, when you can take an old interview that meant nothing and have someone redo it, it tells you people like what that guy says.
He's a needle mover. It's so funny. Here's the thing. He was in the presser, and he said, yeah, when they wanted me to fight Chang Li, he was talking about Li Liang or Li, and someone goes, you realize what you just said? And he goes, yeah, but I didn't mean it like that. It's just, he's like, I don't know the guy's name.
And he doesn't. He doesn't.
And that's the thing. What's real about him, he wasn't trying to be an asshole. He just really doesn't know the person's name, and I gotta admit, he got the last name right, Lee. He's just like, he just didn't, but what you get from him is what you're going to get every single time. And the what's the word I'm looking for? The authenticity of who he is never going to be changed, man.
Nope.
I watched his presser afterwards, and he had a smile on his face the whole time. He had that, like, I'm free. I'm a free man. I can make any decision I want right now, and no one fucking owns me.
That's right.
And it just had that you could see the look on his face, like, I'm good. Like, I'm happy. Everything that I deserve, I worked for, fucking worked out in the end for me. And I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy to see what happens. If he fights Jake Paul, great. If he doesn't fight Jake Paul, great. I mean, I don't care. But whatever he does, I'm going to tune in and watch, man. Big fan. Fan for life.
Yep.
Next.
Next story. Did you guys see AJ McKee's comments that he wants to do a Pettis fight? He's saying crossover. I don't know if that means if he wants Pettis to come to Bellator, or if he wants it to be a crossover with PFL. Don't know how that would work. But
is Pettis still under contract with the PFL?
I thought, didn't Pettis say he's retiring?
I didn't hear that one.
Can you look that up? I believe he only signed a 2-year deal with them, and that he's been there for 2 seasons. So I don't think he's going to renegotiate and try to figure out. But
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he wasn't in the finals this year.
2 broken hands.
Yeah,
that was in his fight with Stevie Ray.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the latest kind of reports on him.
I don't know. I think first off, AJ McKee, calling out someone from a different organization, you're not in that position right now. It's.
I think he's just getting. I feel like he's super talented. He knows what he's capable of.
AJ is.
And he
just doesn't know where to go right now.
He seems like he's lost. I mean, he's 45, then 55. Now he's up at 55. He's not going back down to 45. When I talked to him last,
nope.
He's like, I'm here. I'm here at 55. That's where I'm staying. I think at 45, he would have been the champ. He would have been the champ maybe for a long time. And I'm a Patricio Pitbull huge fan. But I think AJ just stylistically was the type of way that he could fight him. The reach, the speed, all those things that give Pitbull problems, AJ possesses. And the reach and the range and all that stuff. At 55, he's going to have a lot tougher task, especially when you look at that roster at 55. And I know that there's talk, there's buzz. They're going to do the 55-pound tournament next year. And if that happens, he's going to be obviously thrown into that mix. I mean, you're not going to not have him in there. He's the 145 featherweight World Grand Prix champion. You're going to put him in there.
Oh, yeah.
And if he gets this win over Spike Carlisle, which he should get it easily and handily. But Spike is one of those dogs that if you don't get him out of there, he will be there and with a minute left in the 3rd round.
Look at who gave AJ the most trouble in that Grand Prix. Not the best fighter. The guy that was the dog.
Oh, yeah, Campos.
Let's be honest. It was Derek Campos, and Derek Campos is a dog, a guy that just doesn't quit, won't give in, keeps throwing shots at you. Guess what Spike Carlisle is?
Yeah.
He's that guy, man. He doesn't give in, man. He comes back and he throws. When you expect him to back off, he steps forward and throws. Like you said, AJ is a special talent, no doubt about it, and he's so good. And I've watched him growing up into the fighter that he is. He needs focus. That's the only thing I say.
John, you've known him since he's been what, 8, 7?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I mean, you've seen him grow up right in front of you.
Yeah.
And then you've known his dad forever. I mean, I ducked his dad for at least 6-7 years, so I never had to fight his ass. I was like, fuck you. Yeah. They always try to match me up with him. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You are way too fucking strong.
He is
fucking
strong
athletic
as
for
a
me.
fucking ox, man.
Super strong and way too good of a wrestler and too athletic for me. I was like, get away from me. Stay away. I mean, I took the fight a couple times, and luckily the fight got canceled somehow, some way. We were supposed to fight, I think, in the Ultimate Athlete a long, long time. Remember that show that got canceled?
Long ago.
Yeah, we were supposed to fight there, I believe, and something happened, and the fight never happened. It was supposed to be the fight after. It's supposed to be the show, I think, after they canceled it all. It was supposed to be their next show. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll take it. And thank God I never took it. Would have had a different career probably.
It's one of those, with you look at AJ and you go at 145, and yes, as guys get older, they get bigger, it's tougher. You change things up then, nutrition-wise. This is a profession. It's a job. And you got to say, hey, if I want to stay in this weight class, I can. Because, he can make it. The weight cut's hard. I'm not saying it's not. It's, that sucks. I totally understand. But all of the advantages that he has at 145 start to go away at 155. Yeah. The size of the frame, the length, all the things that he has, this is an advantage. This is an advantage. They all end up, everyone's the same. They're the same as far as that height. They're the same as far as that reach. They're the same as far as speed-wise. He may be a little bit faster than, some of the guys in there, but there's guys that are going to match him. Yeah. You take a look at Usman or Magomedov as far as, speed on the feet. He's right there with him, and he's got the same length, if not more.
Yeah, I think you have more. Yeah, I look at the guys that are in there, like Tofik Mosaev. He might be faster than AJ. I don't know if he's going to be as strong, but he's a fucking dog, and he is explosive. He will try and touch AJ at every turn. Yep. And you've got Usman, and you've got Mamedov. I mean, you've got that whole Alexander Shabli is a fucking problem for him. Yep. He is people need to realize who
Shabli's an
Shabli
anti-wrestler.
Yep.
Guy's got great takedown defense. And he's just a bitch. And he'll turn that you try to take him down, he'll turn it around on you and end up on top of you. But his stand-up, dude, he's sharp.
Fantastic boxer, relaxed. Like, you could tell he's been working a lot with a lot of the guys at ATT. But, like, Masvidal is, like, you could tell he kind of started mimicking the whole pull up the pant, hands boxing, relaxing, the feints, the movements that Masvidal does, but just a young version of him, man. Just with power. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got accuracy. In this whole thing, I look at him. I'm like, damn, he's a problem for all of them. You've got Tofik. You've got Shabli. You got Usman. You've got Mamedov. All those guys. You got Rabadanov. You got all of them. Are all nasty, nasty fighters. And in the mix, you got the old school. You got Benson. You got Patricki's the champ. But I mean, like, there's a mix up in there, man. Brent Primus
is a problem.
He's a problem. When the fight hits the ground, he's a problem. Yeah. Especially if he gets on top of you, he's not a problem. So there's some mix ups in there. We're going to see. But AJ, he's going to get that win. If he does get that win, it's going to put him right into that mix of, okay, next year's the Grand Prix. Where do I fit? And who do I draw? That's going to be a tough task, man. I mean, it's shaping up to be a fun little Grand Prix if they can put that thing together by next year. All right, what else you got for us?
All right, next one, Marlon Moraes is ending his retirement, signing with PFL at 145.
Well, he should have been at 45. I think a lot of the time he was killing himself to get 35. It just wasn't a good fit for him, man. 45 is the spot for him. When you get older, you could tell he was killing himself and depleting himself so much. He started reminding me of Gleason Tebow. Explosive for the first round, halfway to the second round, just a different fighter. Not this dead, just too much, too heavy, not enough food in his system.
Just everything. look at when he fought Henry Cejudo. Look at the damage he did in the first round against Henry Cejudo.
Yeah.
And he was exhausted. And it's not because he wasn't in shape. It's because he was cutting so much weight. He just lost, there was no energy left.
Yeah.
And so the biggest problem is here now you're talking about a guy that has been knocked out multiple times. If you take a look at his last, 4 fights, take a look at how they ended. Mm-hmm. that's the problem with Marlon here. Not that, he's basically going home kind of because he's going to the PFL, which was the World Series of Fighting where he was the champion and stuff. And so he's kind of going home with it. And I kind of like that for him. And I hope he does well. I just hope that there is a gap of time that he has, good gap, 9, 10, 11 months before he's fighting. I think that's going to help him a lot. And I think the 145, like you said, is going to help him a ton as far as being better in the fight and being healthier.
I think it's going to help his chin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the amount of liquid, the amount of fluid he's going to have in his body to help give that brain a little extra jar, whatever it is. I think it's going to help him a lot, I think, in that position. I also think that his energy level is going to increase tenfold. If you, like you said, give him some more time to get on there. If he's not going to fight until next March, brilliant.
It's great.
That's plenty of time for him to put the weight on properly. He's got like probably a 26-inch waist. Him and Benson Henderson are like fucking waist brothers. I swear, their waists are like this big around, but their shoulders and their chests are just barrel chested. Both of them are fantastic fighters. But Marlon, he's got a lot. I think he still has a lot left in the tank. He's gonna make these adjustments. He's probably having some success in the gym at 145, training with the guys at 145, training while has the weight on. He's probably having a little bit of success. Like,
feeling
look, I'm
pretty
gonna go
good about
here. I'm going to make some money. Like you said, he's the former champion from the World Series of Fighting. I think he understands what's going on. Hey, You guys are going to pay me a lot of money basically to come back home. I'm here to win. So good for him.
Good for him.
Next.
All right, let's get. Let me just find which.
Hey,
one
Dave, don't sound so motivated, buddy. All right, let's get right back to this. Well, I saw you pulled up something. What'd you pull up there? I know you said you
Aspen
wanted
Ladd,
to talk.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'd left it in there, but I wasn't gonna. I was gonna go to the next one, but Aspen. We never covered this on the show. Yeah, we never covered it on the main show over the weekend. We obviously wanted to highlight the fights and not the poor performances by some. So we did not discuss the Aspen Ladd
Podcast Dave taking a shot, huh? A shot. Yeah, producer feeling like he can fight
throwing
now, huh?
shade.
Little bit of Train Alta, and look at him. He feels like he can fight. Aspen Ladd will whoop your ass, dog. I would pay to see that. No, this is it. Like, I don't want to give too much spotlight to something like this, attention to something like this. She's missed weight multiple times. I'm surprised the UFC hasn't cut her. I believe that they haven't cut her because there's not a lot of talent in the female weight classes. You have the top 6, 7, maybe even 8. But they try to keep whatever they have, whoever they have, at a young age. She's still young. There's a lot of room for growth. I think, honestly, some fighters, like I'll use my boy, Anthony Johnson, Rumble. He just didn't realize that he was being stubborn. Stop trying to make the weight when you don't need to make the weight anymore. He went up. He had some fights outside the UFC. He realized how much he missed the UFC and the success he had outside the UFC. He stabilized himself at a weight class he was happy at. Came back and made a fucking killing in the UFC financially. And then, he's now with Bellator going through some health issues, but he's making a killing there as well. It might be good for her to be released. And just a reality check of, we don't need you. Like there's other females that can take your spot.
They definitely don't need her.
We would love to have you, but if you can't make weight, what's the point? We're canceling fights because you're more of a headache now. You're more of a liability now for us. And we're putting all this money into investing into you and promoting you and doing all these things. We're done. Let you go fight somewhere else. Go fight in the small shows. Go fight in Invicta. Go do what you got to do over there. Get some wins and come back when you're ready to mature as a person, as an athlete. Do your job. What is your job, John?
There you go. That's it. Come on. That's what how many times we talk about what is your job? And one of the 3 things is make weight. The promotion is, they're standing there dumbfounded when you don't make weight. You signed a contract, when that date is, all the stuff, and then you don't make weight, and they're like, what the hell? And you look, and she had just done an interview a couple of days before talking about how she had changed things up and that the weight is not going to be an issue this time and everything is, tighter and she's feeling better and it's all so good. And then she missed again. And you just look and you go, damn. And I don't know if it is the pressure of everything, but I'm not sure that they're going to release her, but I could see it happening. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. She can always come back. She can always, go out, get used to doing things the right way, get yourself, set like you said you had, and then come back and fight in the UFC, at another time, and, do well. But it's one of those, it's dumbfounding. If it happens once, I understand it. When it happens more than once, no.
I feel like she is battling some inner demons, whatever they are, whether it's at home, whether it's her coaches, whether it's her training, whether it's just something personally for her to come and not make weight several times. There's something going on. It's not just that you are sabotaging yourself now.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
it.
there's got to be there's inner stuff going on that none of us have the answers to. So she's gonna have to figure it out on herself.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to figure it out.
I just
on her
hope she
own,
does
and
figure it out.
I hope she does. I agree with you. Next.
All right, let's wrap up in the last one here. Woodley is back in talks for some boxing in November here, and we're talking about Tommy Fury.
Jesus. I have nothing to say.
I mean, look, what I'm going to say is T Wood, man, make that money. Do whatever it takes to make money. I mean, he's 40 years old. I think he's 40 now, 40, 41. I mean, do whatever it takes to make money. You want to fight Tommy Fury? I think Tommy Fury would fight him. I think Tommy Fury doesn't want to fight Jake Paul because Jake Paul, just the reach he has social media wise, the way that he talks shit to people, I think after if he does beat him, the way he does all that stuff, really, really, I think Tommy Fury is one of those guys that kind of just, he doesn't want to be criticized if he loses. I don't think he wants to be that person. He strikes me as somebody, I don't know him at all, know him personally, but he strikes me as someone that he really does not want to let someone like a Jake Paul get a win over him. He doesn't want.
So then don't.
Yeah, no, he's not going to fight him. I mean, we already know he's not fighting him. He's already not fought him twice.
Yeah.
But I think with T Wood's a different animal. T Wood, I think, is win, lose, whatever. T Wood's almost always. I've never seen him be disrespectful ever. He's a respectful guy.
No, he's a good guy.
He's a great person.
Tyron's a great guy.
Trained with him a bunch, hung out a lot. He's a great person.
Yep.
I think this fight, if it does happen, I think it'd be a fun fight. I mean, for me, I'd watch it. See, I like to watch T Wood.
I don't want to see Tyron fight anymore. He should have made enough money off of the two, especially coming in last minute on the second one. He should have made enough money, man. If you're smart with your money, you can invest. You can walk away from this stuff.
Yeah.
There's just no reason for it. I don't want to, watching Tyron get knocked out the way he did in that fight, that second one, I don't want to see that. Yeah. I don't want to see a guy that did so much and was so successful going out that way, with, in a sport that he doesn't belong in, because look at Tyron started as a wrestler. Okay. And he was a good wrestler. And he was dynamic, with his ground and pound and what he could do. And he slowly became more of a stand-up guy, but he was never a boxer. He was never a striker. He was never that guy. And when you take away those elements from him, he's not special there as the boxer.
You know what I've always admired, John, is I've admired fighters that were long in the tooth and that could still wrestle the way that they wrestled. Brandon Couture.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking, he made his money. His bread and butter was
he knew what brought him, man.
Just fucking wrestle fuck you and just beat you down. I mean, he was that guy. And up until the end of his career, he was grinding motherfuckers out.
Yep.
T Wood got away from it and never went back. Fell in love with the stand-up, fell in love with, the combinations of speed. He has power. I've trained with him. He's fast as fuck when I spar with him. Like, he's a fantastic fighter, but he got away from what brought him to the dance.
What brought him to the dance?
Yeah, what brought him all those wins and all the success he had. He had some big knockouts during that run, but the wrestling is really what kept him going. And when they start getting away from it, from what brought them to the dance, you start seeing the change, and it's not good, man. It's not good. That's what I've admired Usman, even though he's coming off the loss to Leon. He was doing well on the feet. Leon didn't give him any threats in terms of until the last second. But Usman mixed in the wrestling. Usman mixed in the stand-up. He did what he was supposed to do. He just made a mistake. That's all. He made a mistake. It can happen to anyone. That's a common mistake, everyone. You guys should all understand. It's common in boxing. It's common in MMA. And the kick's coming from a different angle. That's common. Trying to parry the punch across your face and dipping your head to the outside. It's fucking super common. So for what he did, it was a mistake. He'll be back. He'll be back 100 times better. T. Wood is someone that got away from it completely. Now started just becoming a stand-up fighter. That's why I've always admired fighters like a Randy Couture, Usman, guys that stuck with their wrestling. Colby Covington, I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but I mean, he understands what he's good at, and he's a grinder. He gets in there and just grinds on people. He did it to Lawler. He did it to Masvidal. That's him. That's who he is. You got to admire those fighters, man. It's not easy being that guy. It's not easy. That shit's hard. People need to remember that this sport is fucking hard. And wrestling is a big portion of this sport. And that shit is hard. So, all right. Well, hey, this is going to wrap up our show. It's the WeighingInPodcast.com. Go there, pick up some of our merch. Got the coffee mugs, got the hoodies. It rained here all day yesterday, and it rained here a lot of today. And so, if you are here in San Jose, California, I'm sorry that you are here in San Jose, California, but if you are here like me, get a hoodie, man. Pick one up at WeighingInPodcast.com. All right, John, take us away, buddy.
Hey, for everyone out there, do me a favor, hit the comments and wish the punk a happy birthday. 44 years old. He's an old man now. That's why he's shaving, so it gets rid of the gray. Just let it go, baby. Let it go. It's okay.
Don't be upset at this jawline, this smile. Look at these pearly whites, baby. And this hairline is still thriving. Don't be jealous. I'm a good-looking SOB. You know that.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm starting to throw up in my mouth again. For everyone out there, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you.